because of course the use of physical punishment creates anger and rage in a child. An adult, if someone hits an adult, they get angry. Children are people too. They get angry when they're hit.
Another issue is the issue of anger. And in my book, I talk about anger of the children and how to deal with that, but also there's an element of anger with parents. And a lot of the parents that I work with are so angry at their children they lose it. And I have to teach them anger control, and there are ways of teaching anger control. You know, my mother used to say, when you get angry, count to 10. Take a deep breath and count. Actually, she didn't know she was a cognitive psychologist. She understood that using some relaxation procedures is a way to diffuse your anger. So what you need to be able to do is to be able to count to 10, take a deep breath, learn some way of calming yourself, and I teach that, and it's in my book on the case against spanking. And so that's another element of disciplining, learning as a parent to control yourself, not to show anger. We all get angry sometimes, but I'm talking about really showing anger and spewing forth your venom both verbally and physically on your children. And that's a bad idea because you're teaching them that's the way to handle frustration. We all have frustrations. So that's a very important message for parents.
One of the difficult things that has come out of the literature recently is that discipline, correction, is more effective when given calmly. But of course, it's exactly in that situation where the child has misbehaved that the parent is most likely to be angry. And when parents are angry, a couple of things happen. If they try to give a punishment while they're angry, they often overreact, give a punishment that's too severe, which they may then retract later, being inconsistent from the child's point of view, or if they keep to the harsh punishment that they determined, the child will see them as too harsh and unreasonable and discount them from that point of view. Another thing that happens if parents try to punish children when they're too angry is that they tend to say things that they regret later, cast negative aspersions about the child's character, underlying character, say, "You're the worst kid I ever saw, you're some kind of a monster," and convey this to the child. This is very damaging to the child's self-esteem. Everyone can remember some incident where someone said something like that to them. They remember it for a very long time. So even a few episodes like that can be hard on the child in terms of their self-esteem and their relationship with the parent. So staying calm is really very useful. But in fact, it's also not the way things mostly happen. Most punishment is being given out when the parents are very angry. So the best strategy for this is to remember that if you postpone deciding what the punishment is and simply take a time out away from the child, or tell the child, "I'm very angry with what you did. When I cool off, I'm going to tell you what consequence there will be." That gives the child a chance to respect you for pulling yourself together. It's a good model, actually, of controlling your own anger. Sometimes parents count to 10 for themselves or walk out of the room. All of those things can be helpful ways for parents to control themselves well enough to be able to give an appropriate kind of a consequence. It doesn't have to last very long. We all also know that immediate consequences are more effective for changing a child's behavior. But this is, you have to temper this with the knowledge that having the parent stay calm and give the right consequence at that time is even more important.